Thank you so much. You know, in 1972, I was a junior at Iowa State, and I knocked doors in Story County for 2 Harkins. There was a war being fought half a world away. Classmates were being sent to fight for a cause that many of them did not believe in, and some never returned. I knocked doors that year with the hope that by sending Tom Harkin to Congress, our troops would soon be on their way home from Vietnam. That fall, one of the Harkins was elected, and it took a few more years to get Tom to Congress and our troops home. Today, I have a junior of my own. My son Zach is knocking doors for Tom Harkin and his mother this year, with the hope that this band of Iowa Democrats will soon bring an end to the war in Iraq and return his classmates home safely. For the past 36 years, I've been active in our party and in my community. I worked for the American Red Cross, helping servicemen returning from Vietnam and helping their families adjust to a life of injury and the scars of war. As a new generation of veterans return home from Iraq and Afghanistan, we need to make certain that the promises we made to them are honored. In Tom Latham, we have had a congressman who has voted to give benefits to overseas companies instead of our veterans. As I travel the district and I visit with my neighbors in Dallas County, I hear countless stories of families that are struggling just to get by. Fuel costs are hurting our farmers, and suddenly a ride to daycare or Little League or a part-time job are becoming more and more costly. We need a leader who will stand up to the big oil companies. I will invest in homegrown energy alternatives to lessen our dependence on foreign oil, lower gas prices, and create good-paying jobs right here in Iowa. We need new jobs that cannot be outsourced and can be unionized. We have had enough of corporate greed and pharmaceutical neglect. We need an economic system of shared prosperity that holds CEOs accountable and offers help to displaced workers. It is not acceptable that prescription drugs manufactured here are sold cheaper in Canada, while countless Iowa seniors are trapped in a donut hole. The time has come for every American to have access to affordable, quality health care. Too many Iowans are just one medical bill away from financial disaster. For the last 8 years, Tom Latham has forgotten about us. He has given George Bush a blank check and a green light on the war in Iraq. He supported this war 5 years ago, and he is still supporting it today, while he is opposing minimum wage increases and stem cell research. This November, we need to send George Bush's wingman home for good. Yes. We've had enough. 14 years ago, Tom Latham was elected under Newt Gingrich's contract with America. And what do we have to show for that? Tax cuts for the rich, job loss and economic depression, a foreclosure crisis, record deficits, soaring gas prices, and a war with no end in sight. I am one that still believes in the promise of America and the compassion of her people. Growing up in Iowa, we have been through so much together. We stood by one another during the farm crisis, and we're helping each other during the floods. We cheered our girls on in 6-on-6 and our boys in wrestling. We hold our heads high and our flags higher as we support our troops. We are more than a community. We are shared values. We are bound by the principles of hard work and decency and the belief that together we can make a difference. We can make a difference for those struggling to get by on minimum wage. We can make a difference in foreign nations whose people immigrate here seeking better jobs. We can make a difference for those without health care and those who cannot afford their prescription costs. We can make a difference for those seeking a college education but are turned away by the high costs. We can make a difference for those struggling to rebuild after floods and tornadoes took away their homes. We can make a difference for teachers in school districts forced to deal with that unfunded mandate known as No Child Left Behind. We can make a difference for the nurses who are overworked and underpaid. And we can make a difference for the thousands of veterans that are returning home to shameful care in some facilities like Walter Reed. Yes, we can, and we will. And you know, there are those who say that we cannot do this. But to them, I say, go tell that to Congressman David Loebsack. You know, when Dave ran, he challenged an entrenched Republican congressman, and everyone told him it can't be done. Well, he just kept on fighting, and that January, he was sworn in as a member of the 110th Congress. Well, let me tell all of you Iowans right here and right now that in January, when David is being sworn in for his second term, I'm going to be standing right beside him.